Hello again. This is John Hine, Compass Resolution, talking to Mark Jones, financial advisor, for sadly, the last video, the fifth video in this 5-video series. And in this video, Mark, I want to focus on really what happens once that court has made the pension award. And I've got kind of 3 main questions here for you. The first of which is this: what does the IFA, the Independent Financial Advisor, need to do to ensure that the pension sharing award is properly implemented and within timescale?
So it's key here, if you manage to get enough documents about your spouse before you kind of part company with your legal advisor. So what the pension companies will be looking for here, they'll be wanting copies of birth certificates, marriage certificates, passports for you and your spouse to prove who you are and obviously who they are. Now, if the spouse is a member of the scheme, they should be able to go and get them. But on numerous occasions in the last year, we've had lots of problems where that spouse has not produced those documents for the pension trustees, and therefore the funds have been delayed. So I think it's key as you're going through the negotiation before you get to the decree absolute, if that's the route you're going, or the total separation, is that you arrange to give copies of each of these documents to each other. We have got a list on our website of potential documents that the pension trustees or administrators would need, but it is quite comprehensive in some cases. If you are appointing an independent financial advisor to implement your pension sharing order, there'll be a whole raft of documents that they'll be requested. So be prepared to dig out old documents and new documents and go through a bit of a to and fro with the pension trustees until they've got everything. In previous videos, I've talked about the 4-month ruling. The 4-month ruling only kicks in when the trustees have actually got every single document that they need. But what sometimes happens, John, whether this is cynical or not, they will send out an initial letter instructing you to send them 12 different pieces of paper or filling in 12 different forms. You'll then submit them, and then a couple of weeks later, you'll get another form saying, oh, can you also send us these other documents as well? And I'm not sure whether that's a stalling tactic or whether actually that's just part of their process. But be prepared that, this transfer of the money from the pension award that you've got could take 6 to 12 months before it's actually into your account.
Really helpful advice. The key is keep on top of those pension trustees. Keep it going. Yeah. Next question. I'm guessing there'll be some pension implementation charges from the pension scheme. There usually are. So what are they? And who's going to pay these?
So normally the court looks on the fact that you should be paying them equally. So if you've been awarded a pension share, there'll be an administration cost for the trustees and the administrators to share that pension money at that point. They'll generally charge you half the fee and the member half the fee. But then let's say, for example, I'd won £100,000 for my wife's pension. If I don't have a personal pension at that stage and I'm being asked to take that money away from the scheme, then I'll need to speak to an independent financial advisor to take advice on that, for them to do the work to transfer that £100,000 across into a new pension. Our industry generally works on like a rounded fee, with most advisors charging 3% on the first £100,000 to do that work. So you're looking at a £3,000 fee to set up the pension and to actually get that money across. Now, the courts have varying different views on this, but generally, if you're having to set up a pension yourself and then take that money in, that's generally a cost that you're going to have to pay yourself.
Well, that makes sense, I guess. Yeah, and with all this, we've talked about needing the advice and the support and the help of financial advisors and so on. But so what's your advice about choosing the right financial expert to prepare that pension report we've been talking about? What kind of qualifications should we, or my clients, should I, when I'm helping them, be looking for in the pension expert?
I think there's a few key things. Obviously, there's people, in any sectors, but especially in financial services, saying they are what they're not. So first of all, check out their FCA registration. So are they qualified and are they actually registered with the FCA? Get them to carry out some independent market research, not just pick a pension out of the back pocket. So actually someone's done some research and there's some justifications for it. There's all different types of contracts now with all different types of underlying investments. It's got to be right for you in terms of the amount of risk you want to take with this money that you've now just been awarded. And while the FCA doesn't have a rule on if you're taking money from a final salary scheme as a pension sharing award, you don't have to be a pension specialist, i.e. have a qualification called G60, which is the old type pension qualification. It's now AF3 or AF7. So if an independent financial advisor has got an AF3 or an AF7 certification, then they've done some recent qualifications around pension transfers. You will pay a little bit more of a premium for these advisors, but they're more qualified to advise you on what the markets are like at the moment. So we'd say make sure they're regulated, make sure they're registered with the FCA, make sure they've got relevant qualifications, and that they're looking independently across the market. So they're not just looking at one particular product.
The right person for the right job, I'm guessing. Yeah.
Definitely, yeah.
Makes sense. Well, Mark, that brings us. That really brings us, sadly, to the end of this kind of final video, and the end of the series as well. You know, I found it really interesting and fascinating, actually, extremely helpful, talking to you and listening to what you're talking about. And my hope is that my clients and clients of my mediators and all those who are watching the videos also find what you've been talking about useful, and most importantly, helpful to help them achieve better kind of pension outcomes within their divorce. And should they need some more help, I have put the website divorcepensions.co.uk on the board here. If they access that, what will they find on that website?
They'll find some information around what an instruction to a pension actuary looks like. They'll find some information around recent case studies that's happening in the industry. They'll also get some generic information around pensions and what they look like. But again, we're just a sounding board. If someone wants to just send us a contact information, go onto the website, send a question. You know, we don't charge to answer questions. If we can help people through this difficult period in their life. Pensions is not an easy, understandable industry to get your head around. You know, we make it difficult for ourselves for some reason. And my job, really, and the team's job, is to try and unravel the jargon for you and try and explain in layman's terms what you can do, how you should go about doing it, how you can reduce the costs, and give you some independent advice, really.
And that's indispensable. You know, it's absolutely fantastic you do that, you guys, and you are worth every penny from my point of view. It's a tricky little area. So thank you again. Thanks very much for for taking the time to talk to me and to be interviewed, if you like. And thanks to the time for giving your time and your information support to all the people looking out there. So from Mark Jones and from me, John Hind at Compass, thanks very much, and hopefully we'll see you soon. Bye, Mark. Bye-bye.
Bye, John.
Cheers. Bye.